clock is ticking. We only have a couple minutes to get to the post office, but it says that my lens is in for the camera, and we're crossing our fingers. We don't know exactly if it's just the lens that's broken or if it's actually the sensor in my camera that's broken, but we do know that I need a new lens, so we ordered a lens first because that is the cheapest option out of the two so far, and I'm excited.
We just got the email now, and it's 10 to 4, and we don't know what time the post office ends at. And just because we live really rurally, calling is just not even an option where we are. So we're just gonna hope that we make it there in time, because we can't go tomorrow and grab it from the post office because we're expecting to have a plumber at our house all day so we can have the plumbing hooked up for the washer, for the pantry sink, and the kitchen sink. Oh, do you hear the clinking in the back seat?
Yeah, what is that?
I just picked up the truck from the mechanic last night at the end of the day because we have our truck back, but I might have stopped at the Oceanside yard sale on the way
my
back.
gosh.
And they're busted. There's some clinking in the back seat. I found a couple of kitchen items
goodness.
in the back seat.
Oh.
Oh, clink. New lens, new lens. It's not as exciting when it's the same lens you already have, but at least the camera will work.
Right.
We want to make sure before we get any additional lenses that the base of the camera is actually working and that it wasn't the whole camera and not just the lens. It was a little delay, but didn't take that long to get here. It even has a cap. We haven't been able to find the cap. Probably why we needed a new lens. And it has no renovation dust in it.
That's what killed the other camera, was not really the sawdust, but it was the dust that when we were removing the wall in the upstairs.
Yeah, I'm certain that's what it was.
All that plaster went inside the camera, and it
it's
went
like
in,
chalky dust, right?
Yeah, it's chalky dust, and it went inside the lens, and these lenses, they're not sealed properly because they're not. The lens that we have is just the standard basic lens. It's not a, doesn't have a seal.
Yeah, the edges aren't sealed. So if you were to blow dust off of the front of it, it will just blow all in between all the lens,
Not
the layers
saying
of the
that's
lens.
what happened, but if someone was to blow the front, it will go inside the lens and you can't get it out. We looked, we tried.
We tried.
It's not really the best view. No. You are.
Aw. Philip brought me flowers from the property today in a cute glass jar he found in the property.
I did.
It was very cute.
Okay, love, the moment of truth.
Oh.
So much more important than hummingbirds. I got my camera body. I got my new lens. I really hope this is a...
I braided my hair today just for extra good luck. Any extra fingers crossed or anything crossed we could do today, we needed so that we don't have to, hopefully don't have to buy a brand new camera. If this footage is shaky, it's because the bugs are eating me.
Imagine it was the wrong mount.
You said E-mount, right?
Yeah, it's tight. It's all not good though.
Ooh. Is it longer than it was last time?
No, it's the same.
Oh, it's just out.
It's the exact same. Feels the same. Okay, here it goes. Ooh, that looks... Okay, hold on. My settings are all messed up.
There's more hummingbirds at the
Yeah, it looks amazing.
So does the hummingbird beside you. Sorry.
I'd record them with this, but I don't have...
Does it look great? Make sure.
Yeah, it looks perfect.
Did you hear the sigh of relief through the camera?
It looks so good.
So right now we're filming on what camera what is this one?
I can put a camera card in this and then I can film you.
Our camera is fine. Yay! What a relief. As you know, buying a brand new camera is a huge expense, and I'll be honest with you, between the septic and the truck and the camera and all the other catastrophes this month, having to replace an entire camera was going to be something that was going to be even more a setback in terms of budget for us, and so we really didn't want to have to do that if we didn't have to. Of course we would have if we had to, but you really don't want to until you're going to upgrade to the next level of camera that you want, which is something we want to do in the future. So, but luckily we were able to do just our filming the last couple of days. I have a... lobster trucks. I have a Sony CyberShot camera, which is perfect for vlogging and just easy clips and stuff. It just doesn't capture the colors, and it doesn't capture all of the amazing scenery and clips that Philip gets so graciously on our camera that he's using to film me right now. So thank goodness the camera's good, and we can get back to our regular, oh, another hummingbird, did you see it go?
Yeah.
It was straight by. So we can get back to our regular filming, doing our renovation and all of our beautiful property shots with our original camera that we've been using.
Yay!
Yay! Happy dance! So about 2 weeks ago, Philip and I were sitting in the new dinette spot here in the kitchen, and we noticed something really funny out front. There was a hummingbird trying to drink from the back red plastic over the brake light on the truck, and we were like, what is it doing? We're like, oh, it's trying to drink from the truck. So I immediately went to the store, to the hardware store, and picked up a couple of bird feeders so that we could feed the hummingbirds. Because I thought if it's trying to drink from my truck, it clearly doesn't have any food to have. And since we don't really have any flowers really growing, especially tubular flowers on the property, we knew that we needed to get some feeders. We never noticed any hummingbirds last year, and this year we have an abundance of hummingbirds, and so it's my new obsession. So we hung a hook. Philip put the post from a bug zapper, and we hung one of the feeders right outside this little dinette spot in the kitchen here. And we are getting so many hummingbirds. So I went and bought a few more hummingbird feeders, and now I have 5 hummingbird feeders. They've drank almost 3 entire full ones in the last 3-4 days that we've had them outside.
Yeah.
And it's recommended that you change the serum that you put into it every 24 or 48 hours, depending on how hot your climate is. But it's been really cool, so I left it 3 or 4 days. And today I need to fill them back up because they've almost exhausted the syrup that we put in them. And I have 2 new ones to fill. So I want to show you how I do that. The main thing with hummingbird feeders that because I've done tons of research in this last week, because I'm new to hummingbirds, we didn't really have many around our place in Ontario, a few, but not like here, is to make sure everything's super sterile. So you want to make sure that you don't have any bacteria. So if you have hummingbird feeders, you can use a little bit of bleach and water, make sure they're super clean, and then fill them. So to do the filling, I've already boiled some hot water here, and what you want to do is do 4 parts water and 1 part sugar. And I'm not going to put it hot like this into the feeder, but what you want to do is you want to break down the sugar. So I'm doing 4 cups of hot water. And then we'll put in 1 cup of sugar, which means I'm going to spill this. And I should... 1 cup-ish of sugar. And you're going to mix it, and you'll see that it gets really foggy when you put the sugar in, and you want to kind of mix it until you see that your syrup that you're making is clear. And then we'll be letting this cool down. And hummingbirds don't like really cold syrup, so you don't want to put this in the fridge and then put it in the feeders. You want to just let it get to room temperature and then put it outside. So the really, really cold syrup's not good for them. So you can see this already went really clear because my water was really hot. If you just mix it with cold water, you're gonna have really foggy white syrup that goes into your feeders, which doesn't really matter what it looks like, but this means that the whole syrup that you're making is completely edible for them, and it's all properly mixed in, and the whole thing will be sweet, and it won't separate the water from the sugar if you just use the cold. I'm overkilling on the stirring there, so it's already clear. And then what I did was, because I am now obsessed with hummingbirds, is I bought this juice container that has the bright red lid so that we know that, oh, there's a hummingbird on the post. So that we know that this is the one that we'll have set aside in the pantry for the hummingbird mix, because it gets so sticky, and it's just nice to have one that's separate for that, so we can always have one cooling. So you really should change them pretty often. So I'm just gonna pour it in, and then we'll let it cool down. And I'm gonna make 2 batches because I have quite a few to fill here. So the ones that I got have the tubular flower shapes on them, and I opted for a glass option. That was really the main one that I could find. They were a couple dollars more than the completely plastic ones, but then I knew that there wasn't any chemical or anything in them. And I love these ones, look like the real flowers. They really do stick their little beaks in there really far to be able to get the syrup, and so it really does look as realistic as possible, like the flowers. And having that red color, like they're swarming them. I was trying to hang them outside and walk a few over the first day we were putting them out, and they were following. One tried to land on me while I was holding it, trying to get it to the hook that we were putting it on. So
it was adorable. I
knew that was gonna happen. I could feel it coming out of the bag. So in doing my research this week about hummingbirds, I've been learning all kinds of things specifically about hummingbirds. And I think there's about 5 different species of hummingbirds that are in Nova Scotia typically. And so we've been watching out for as many kinds as we can find and see through the window. But one of the things that I did see online was there was a lady on YouTube who had a whole video about making syrup and how she was enjoying her hummingbirds on her own property, and how she planted a lot of flowers that were tubular to be able to attract more hummingbirds. But in her kitchen window, she had a hook bracket that was a hinge, so she could open her window and then refill her feeders from the window, and it rotated on a little bit of a hinge. So we were able to find a few of our own hooks to be able to put outside the window. So Philip's gonna hang these for me so that I can have them sticking out and have the feeder hang off of it. And then when they need to be filled, I can just lift up the hinge and pull it closer to the window to be able to fill them from the sink, because tomorrow we're getting water in the sink. So I can fill anything I want from that sink. So that's gonna be pretty exciting. But I thought that would be really cute to have a few different ones. And we were gonna put one over by the greenhouse, a few in the garden. We have one now outside the dining sitting area here, and then we'll have some at the kitchen window here as well. I have one more feeder outside, but I wanted to leave at least one up while I was filling these 4, since so many hummingbirds were around today. So I'm gonna get these 4 done. Once I hang those up, then I will fill the one that we left out there. Looks like it's still steaming, but when I stuck my finger in it, it's actually right down to it. That was perfect. One batch filled 4 of them. Just have a little sprinkle left. We can put into the other one. So I would say 3 or 4 1/4 of the feeders for the solution that we made, like the syrup. That's actually really good. Because for just 1 cup of sugar, we were able to fill all of these, which is just great. And then of course water. Last time I put the lids on, and then I forgot that the solution would come out of the flowers. So it's like a 1, 2, 3 go. It's inevitable. Sticky counter.
You trying to get hummingbirds inside the house?
I told Phil I'm gonna wear red every time I leave the house now, so they follow me around the yard.
The hummingbird whisperer. Not bad.
I already have some jute just hanging on these, because what I did, because it gets so windy here in Nova Scotia, is that I wanted to really tie these to the hooks that we were having them outside, rather than relying on the little silver S hooks that they come with, because any little bit of breeze is just gonna blow these glass ones down. And quite a bit of our groundwork has rocks, and I thought even if they just fall in the grass, because they're glass, they could break. So I wanted to make sure that we really tied them on. So I have the jute so that we can knot it on the actual hooks on the brackets that we're putting outside. But I haven't put them on these 2 new ones yet. There we go. That one's perfect there, right?
Yeah, that one was perfect there.
They've been loving this one here. We can just see it from the dining room table. Philip took this big hook off of a bug zapper that was left at the house here when we got here, and it's perfect because we can see them from the perfect height here. We've had so many hummingbirds actually coming to this one. And then we put 2 more on the porch here, so I'm gonna fill the one that was almost empty and hang this one back up so that I can make sure that all 5 of them are filled. My hands, if I close them, they stay together because they're so furry.
Hey, I heard you want to leave this place where we grew up. This old town, just put it all behind. Remember you and I would always find somewhere to hide when we were kids, so we could see and hear the water run. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. Here, hanging on, waiting for your call. Seems like time as a wave passing by, leave a mark in our minds to turn to memories. River's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone.